Welcome to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast, connecting real people with expert advice to achieve a healthier lifestyle and live a more fulfilling and abundant life. Here is your host, Coach Tavia.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Tavia, and I have an amazing, wonderful guest today with me. I'm super excited to share who I have, and her name is Miss Amanda Schaefer. Hello, Amanda. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tavia. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. It's Friday. I'm excited for the weekend, the sun's shining, all the things. I'm just ready to get going. But why I'm bringing Amanda on today, you guys, this is a really special treat today. I actually ran into Amanda, not physically, but on the good old social media site of Instagram. And I was drawn to her because she had a podcast like myself, but it's all about gratitude. And you guys who've been listening to me know how much I talk about being grateful and gracious and all those things when it comes to having a chronic illness per se. And Amanda is basically, she's paving the road right now. And she is an NYU graduate. She's a journalism. She's an author. She's done her own podcast. She's a speaker, a mother, a mentor, and she is a storyteller about gaining, or I would say having gratitude in your life. And so we're going to dive into that. And I'm going to be asking Amanda to share with the listeners, you all out there, about how she went through some monumental big things in her life and how she overcome them just by choosing one word, and that is having gratitude. So Amanda, welcome again. We're going to dive right in here. Thank you again for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So to the listeners out there, you had told me this just a few minutes ago about your story, a little bit about your story, but I want you to tell the listeners out there about your story and how you came about and turned I always say this in my thing, we always have a mess. Some of us have messes and we turn them into messages.
Yeah.
And you definitely had a mess too, that you turned into your message now that's on your podcast, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I've actually had a lot of messes, but the one I want to talk about today is the one when I really think I made that pivot from being in one place to finding positivity and gratitude. So about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed one after the other with 3 autoimmune diseases, Graves' disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, and fibromyalgia. They're all pretty biggies. And each and every one of them depleted my energy, brought on extra weight gain. I started to get depressed. I wasn't able to do so many things. And I had been such an active person. I'm also super creative and love to do DIY projects. And I'm always doing things. I was doing nothing but being able to lay around. And I've got to say, during that time, it just didn't feel like me anymore. I lost every bit of sparkle or life that I really had. And I was diving down fast. And this one day I woke up and I kind of thought, what am I even, doing here?
Yeah.
And I looked out the window and I saw this beautiful bird, just regular everyday bird, but it was singing and it was in the sunlight. And I thought, what is wrong with me? I am not going to let all these doctors and these disease names define me.
Yeah.
And I decided I'm going to look around and I'm going to start taking note of the things that are positive, the things I can be grateful for. And I am not going to sit here anymore. I'm not going to let them tell me that I am going to be this way forever. Yeah. I'm going to get up and I'm going to fight. So that's what I decided to do. I looked around. I started kind of taking note as to what was good. And sometimes I got to tell you, it was simple things in the beginning.
Yeah.
And every day I realized that every day it got a little bit easier to find more things to be grateful for. And the more I pushed myself, Tavia, to get up and go out anyway, to get up and go, even if I felt like I was going to pass out or I didn't think that I could make it, every day I actually got stronger.
Wow.
And now I am, 10 years later, I just turned 57 today.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I have probably more energy and more going on than people half my age. I write books. I do a podcast. I'm taking care of my elderly parents during the pandemic and taking care of their home and their bills and all of their things and my family. And, it's a lot to do, and I'm loving it. And I'm able to do it because, honestly, I do not have one thing that any of those diseases say I should have. I do not any longer have any symptoms. I'm walking around symptom free. And I got to give a lot of that to my attitude and gratitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's our topic today is attitude and gratitude, right?
Yeah.
I want to touch on this for a second. So you had Graves' disease, which is thyroid disease.
That's correct.
For those out there, right? Chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, which are very widespread. I will say I have those diagnoses as well with the Lyme. So 3 very debilitating diseases, if you will. They can be. And okay, so here you are, you have these diagnoses. The doctors say you have Graves, CFS, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, blah, blah, blah. And so take me back. So we have these autoimmune diseases. How was your life when you had those diagnoses versus, well, you just said it right now, how you're living your life now, but back then, take me back a little bit. So did you not have gratitude back then? Is that what you're saying? Or you still had gratitude, but just didn't realize what I
didn't realize is I think what I had done is I had allowed the diagnoses because they were one after the other and they were all happening together. I was allowing that to kind of take over and be my new normal and my new identity.
There you go.
And what I think happened was one day I made the decision, I'm not going to take that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not letting something define me.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment, I believe, that I broke through and really started looking through a lens of gratitude. I think we can pretend and kind of fake gratitude.
Yeah, probably. Fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I think I was happy, but during those times, I'll give you an example. My son was a lot younger, and I remember some of the brain fog and things that I would have. I remember he would be talking to me and I would be trying to be present in the conversation, but I felt like I was looking through a video camera, like I wasn't really there. And I was just kind of looking and listening to him, but I didn't feel present. That's how depleted and drained I was. And then I would go in the bathroom and cry because I was so sad that, I didn't think I was ever going to feel normal again.
Right. Well, I would say most of the listeners out there that can relate to this, we don't. We just, we lose hope, we lose, and then
that's it.
We really lose hope. And if you don't have faith, you and I both are Christian women, we talk about that. And that's a big deal for me. That's got me through too. That's
absolutely. Because when I can't kind of trust in myself, I can look at who God is. And I can trust in that. And I can trust that his character is good and he's going to get me through.
100%. And, and I believe that, while we're talking on the topic of beliefs and faith and stuff like that, I'm going to go there right now with that and how that connection with being gracious and grateful, I believe that goes hand in hand, in my opinion. And I can tell that that's probably a big thing for you too.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, and I remember, Amanda, I told you a little bit about my story, but we'll share that on your podcast. But I had the same experience of where I was like, dang it, I'm not going to be Lyme disease. I'm not going to let this be Tavia Lyme. My name is not Tavia Lyme. Yeah. I don't want to hold that around. So I had to have a pivotal shift too, in my mind, to get me out of that as well. And it wasn't so much for me, the gratitude, as it was me. Actually, it was my faith. And also I'm just a fighter. I call myself a fighting tiger, and I believe, too, you have to have a fight in you somewhere, a little bit of fight, or hold on to something that can get you, out of your, out of being stuck. Right. So full circle here, let's go back to the being having gratitude. So tell me, what are some things for the listeners out there? If they're listening right now, they're like, well, I have Graves, I have chronic fatigue, I have fibromyalgia, I'm got an autoimmune disease, maybe not even one of those three, rheumatoid arthritis, MS, lupus, all of those. They're all not fun. But what are some advice or tips of how you can kind of mentally shift your mind into having some gratitude and getting better?
Absolutely. There are some really simple things you can do. So do things whenever you can that make you happy. If you have a hobby or you love to exercise or be gardening, do that. Purposefully make time for those things. I think we can convince ourselves that we don't have time. Or we're too busy, but we set our own schedules and we can make time for what makes us happy. Also, I think finding tangible reminders of things that you're grateful for, like keepsakes, pictures, special gifts somebody that you love gave you, cut flowers from a walk outside, those tangible reminders, they bring you into the moment of the happiness, maybe when you're struggling.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
Keep a gratitude journal. Now, I know everyone's not a journaler. I'm a journaler, but when you're thinking of things that you can write down that are good and you put them down in writing and you're having a bad day, you can go back and look at those good things and you can get the emotions of hope and gratitude back. You can remember how you came through it last time. And it really is something that helps you so much, I think. And I know people don't like to write things down, but I'm telling you, if you start doing that, that will really help.
Yeah,
and
I believe it.
And this is my favorite. Okay. So I realized that before I even get out of bed, most of the time, I can wake up already complaining in my mind about the things I know I have to do that day, especially during the pandemic. I think people are like, I got to go in another Zoom meeting, or I've got to go here, to there. The kids, I've got 12 kids at home, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's so you wake up kind of complaining. So I purposely lay there after I open my eyes, before I put my feet on the ground, and I start thinking of things I'm grateful for. I mean, basic things that most days I think we take for granted, like that I can see, that I'm breathing, that I have a bed to sleep in, and a house and a family and a car to go to work, and all those things. And before I know it, even clean clothing to wear. I mean, some people don't have these things. And then I sit up and start my day. And I'm telling you that changes the trajectory of the day and my life.
I love it.
And it will for you too. It tells your brain to be positive. Yeah. And after you do that for a while, it looks for the good stuff.
Yeah. And it opens up it opens up the possibilities, right?
Absolutely. And the more you do it, the less difficult it is. It's just something that becomes like a good habit. The last thing is, so my daughter is a psychotherapist. She specializes in trauma, anxiety, and addiction. Okay. And I had her on my podcast, and I did so on purpose so she could give some information about the way gratitude works in your brain chemistry, and also give some examples. But one of the things that she told me that I just thought was so powerful is she said, start small and be consistent. Okay. And she gave some examples. So for example, like if start with choosing 2 areas maybe in your life to be grateful for. Okay. Or think of 3 things or 3 people who inspire you. And then start to dig into, well, why do they inspire me? And you'll see as you go that you get more and more grateful. She also suggested that you just go through the ABCs of gratitude. Like for me, A, I'm grateful for art. I love to be creative. It helps me feel alive. B, I'm grateful for bouncing on my trampoline. Yes, I'm 57 and I got a big trampoline in my yard to bounce on. So when I'm not feeling my best, it's like, you're outside, you're getting exercise. It's good for your mind. I feel carefree and young. I got the sunshine.
I love it.
And I got that that was like my best pandemic purchase, my trampoline.
Good for you. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, and you don't have to finish the alphabet. You just
go through.
Keep going until you actually feel grateful.
Okay. I love it. These are fabulous tips.
And like you said, for me also a big proponent of gratitude is my faith. And when
Sure.
I'm having trouble navigating difficult times, I can stop and look at God, at who he is, and I can be grateful for how he cares for me and provides for me and how he gives me peace. And that helps me hang on to hope and be positive.
Absolutely. 100%. Agree. One of the things I was thinking of when opening up possibilities, one of the things that as a coach that I learned, they taught us in our school was instead of saying the words, I don't know how, or I can't do it, you say, I wonder.
Oh, I love that.
I wonder, I wonder what it's like to, I wonder what it's like to have $5 million, right?
Yeah.
Then rather than saying, oh, I can't have $5 million. Instantly the neurons in your brain change and you start thinking, oh, how could I have $5 million? Well, let's go down and get a lottery ticket. Let's stop by that. Or maybe I need to, maybe that's one, or maybe I need to start hanging out with people that are millionaires.
Yeah.
Right. So that was one thing that I just had to interject there because I was thinking about that in opening up the possibilities, with your daughter, what she was saying. Starting small, right? Just starting like that of how open the door to possibilities in your brain. And that's what you're talking about here with this gratitude, doing the things you love, tangible reminders. These are fabulous. These are fabulous ideas. I'm so excited. Do you ever, I'm a music for me is my, music is so powerful, right?
It changes everything. And it's like a time portal. Smells and music. Like you smell something and it'll take you back years ago.
Yes.
Music, you remember. Yeah. I worked with an Alzheimer's patient and she could remember every lyric to this old song, but she didn't even know her daughter's name. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? The mind is an amazing thing. And it's a muscle. We need to use it, right?
Yes,
we need to use it. So, okay. I'm so excited. There's so many things here that you just talked about. And I hope that some of these nuggets of information will be very helpful for some of the listeners out there. What else? Is there anything else that's just like, you're just dying to share with them that you could give someone some hope, some enlightenment today that is out there just like suffering? What would you say? What else would you say?
Well, I think I would say that one of the most important things that you can do if you're out there and you're feeling cut off and you're feeling like you're suffering, don't keep it to yourself. I think community is really important. And, some people don't have a lot of family or very close friends, but I would say to reach out and try to connect with someone else who maybe is going through what you're going through. You can get encouragement from each other. You can become an encourager. And sometimes being that positive person, even for someone else, is what brings you gratitude.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Community is so important. That's one thing when people come into my office and I talk to them, is who's your support system?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a big deal. I am so blessed. I had an amazing husband. I still have an amazing husband that supported me in my illness, and it's huge, but I know a lot of people that don't have that. So if you can't if you don't have a spouse or significant other or partner in your life, find that community, right? There's support systems out there. There's coaches, there's people like you, like me, even that, and
I mean, we live in a day and age where you can get on your computer and you can find groups that have anything in common with you that you like, or they're you don't even have to leave your house and you can connect with someone.
Oh, totally. What's that one? Meetup. Have you heard of that one? Meetup. Yeah. Meetup. And then of course there's BNI groups and all kinds of groups like that. Yeah. So I think that's super important too.
But another thing that I would say, definitely probably prejudiced because my daughter is a psychotherapist, but if you feel really stuck and you can't get to a place of gratitude, then you need to reach out and talk to a therapist because they can help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have the tools to help you. Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. Thank you for saying that because yes, absolutely. That's the thing is I think people need to know that there is professional help out there for sure. like your daughter, and
it makes all the difference. And right now, the happiest people in the world are having meltdowns and having difficulty. It's who's lived through a pandemic before?
Right.
None of us.
None of us. No.
So, it's new territory, and there's nothing to feel bad about or be ashamed about. If you're struggling, the healthy thing to do is to talk to someone.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna plug a little thing here. So as we were talking about your daughter being a psychotherapist, and I just did a podcast recording. It's not live yet, with one of my friends from elementary school. She is a professional psychologist and counselor, family health counselor, and we talk about the differences between like a health and life coach versus like a professional psychologist, psychiatrist, things like that, and the differences in how to find the one that works for you and the fit for you. But sometimes one is better over the other, and one is not over. Yeah. So that's going to be coming out too. I just want to share that with the listeners and with you.
That's exciting.
Yeah, because I feel like there's life coaching, health coaching, what you and I are doing, just helping out people. There is a difference between us and the professionals that, like the psychiatrists and stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. I mean, they've studied the brain, and they understand things, and they have tools for you that will work. And
yeah. So I want to just make sure people understand that there is help for sure. Well, awesome, Amanda. I think this is going to be an amazing, lots of information I hope anyways, for you listeners out there, that I hope that they get some nuggets of this. I certainly did. I was taking notes down, and I'm going to pass these along. Any final words you want to say to the listeners out there?
Well, I would say, like my daughter had said, just start little, just start with one thing. I say in my outro of my podcast, just look for one good thing, just start there.
Yeah.
It's really all you have to do. And everybody can find one good thing.
Absolutely. And then my last thought, or my last question for you is, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my birthday. I made it 57 years. I'm feeling fantastic. God
bless you.
Thanks. I'm in just a really interesting season, and it's exciting. I also have this opportunity where I'm caring for my elderly parents, and that only comes once in a lifetime. And so I'm just very grateful for the opportunities that I have, and for the years I've had. I'm really blessed.
Yeah, good. I love it. Congratulations. Happy birthday. I wish you many, many more years of health and happiness and gratitude. I'm excited to share this podcast with everybody. And I hope all the listeners out there get a little bit of a nugget out of this. I know I always say that, but I really hope you can take one of these things that Miss Amanda shared with us today, and you can use it tonight, tomorrow, and forevermore. Remember, you guys, Amanda, you can find her. She's a publishing company, actually, Footbridge Publishing, because you are an author. You said was that your son, right? You have
my son and I started the publishing company. He's a graphic artist. He does all my techie and graphic stuff. And I do writing and editing. And then I've also put out I have 2 books of my own out. And
wonderful.
We love it.
Awesome. I will put those links below for everybody that's listening out there, so that you can check out Miss Amanda Schaefer and and if you actually need some publishing, you can always contact her as well. I'm actually going to be contacting you soon, because we'll talk about that another time, about my book coming up. Ooh, did I say that? Little promo there. So anyways, all right. Thank you, Amanda, again, so much for being.
Don't forget to check out the podcast.
Absolutely. Sorry. Thank you. She has her amazing podcast. Yes. I've checked it out. I must subscribe to it, you guys. So good. It's like a daily listening. Do you do, how many episodes do you do a month? I know I do 4 a month.
I do weekly.
Weekly as well. Yeah. Same here. Okay. So every week, you guys, there's a new podcast for Amanda. Check hers out. Of course, check out mine. You are already. Thank you for the love. I love you guys. I love my listeners. So, all right. we will end on this happy note. I want to thank you again, Amanda, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you again.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Make it a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. To learn more about the topics mentioned on today's show, please visit sweetcoachtavia.com.